Just as sunflowers chase the sun, inductees into the South Dakota Hall of Fame chase their dreams day after day, year after year. The 700-plus inductees in the Hall of Fame come from all backgrounds and corners of our state. What their stories have in common is their unwavering courage and belief in their dreams. These dream chasers are an inspiration for us all to strive for excellence and believe in our own potential to chase dreams well into the future.
The 1930s were a difficult time for women who typically held domestic roles. This is the setting for a high school educated and newlywed woman living in Rapid City to turn around a family business and start building what would become a South Dakota broadcasting empire. 2019 inductee Helen Duhamel used her business smarts as a bookkeeper to keep the family from losing the Duhamel Company. She saved the Duhamel Company from the brink of bankruptcy, and by 1937, the company was out of debt. In 1954, Helen filed for a broadcast television license and would be the first in western South Dakota and only the second in South Dakota. This tall, outspoken woman built a regional broadcasting empire and was the first woman to run any state broadcasting association in the U.S.
How would you tell others they can chase their dreams? And what was that like for the two of you with your mother?
I'll let Peter go first on that one.
Well, she came from a little ranch in Nebraska down near Chadron. Came to Rapid City when she was in high school. And she had two older brothers and an older sister that, actually two older sisters, but the two brothers had both gone to college at the Iowa State University, Iowa State College in those days, and gotten their degrees and were gainfully employed in Omaha. My mother always thought that she did well in education and she should go to college too. And it was her dream to be educated. And she went down and asked her father at his ranch in Nebraska to finance her college education. And he refused it. He said, so it's wasted money to educate a woman. And that was one of her first challenges. So after she graduated from high school, she got a job as a bookkeeper.
The one thing about my mother that you really have to understand is what the role of women was a century ago. You go back, she graduated from high school when women got the vote, she was in high school.
Yeah.
In 1920, and
Yeah, that's what
I think she graduated about 1922.
Okay.
So you start from there, and basically her feeling was that that's where the challenge was for a woman to succeed in a male-oriented world. I think.
But the curio store eventually became Duhamel's Cowboy and Indian Trading Post.
Okay.
And she did all the buying for that store, and this is remarkable because she would go to the big shows, the Men's Apparel Show down in Denver. She'd go to Omaha, Chicago at the Merchandise Mart. She even been to New York buying trips and really made a reputation for herself about being a hard bargainer. I'm not going to, but when I was...
There's a code there, isn't there?
When I was in high school, though, I did go on some buying trips with her, and she was very difficult to bargain with. And one of the...
And her credit was excellent.
well,
She took over the store. In 5 years, she pulled out of bankruptcy. So by 1937, they
And in
the bank was paid
very
off.
difficult times.
Yeah, and one of the things that she bargained for was to get an exclusive. For instance,
Okay.
the only Levi pants that were sold in Rapid City were sold at Duhamel's Trading Post.
Was that unusual?
Yes.
She had exclusive on Pendleton's
The wool, the blankets?
The blankets and the clothing
Right.
in Rapid City.
Okay,
She
okay.
had the only F.L. Thorpe Black Hills jewelry in Rapid City.
The only Stetson hats.
What's one thing that you miss about your mother?
Well, one thing we learned was that you never said no to her.
She pretty well, she was insistent on her way. She was that. And she gave really good financial advice. In fact, one of the advice, she gave me a lot of advice, but one of them that I remember, if you hire a woman because she's a woman, that's wrong. If you hire the best person for the job, about half should be women. And that's the way I operated.